Hello, and welcome to Accounts Playable, where we take stock of what just happened in our latest episode.
Love the pun.
This is an after show, not a before show, so if you haven't watched the episode, go do that first, and then we'll still be here. So come on back. So, all right, so you're here. You definitely need to be here. All right. So I'm here with Jasmine and Evelyn, but also Anna, because I always forget whose name is what during filming.
It just means I'm doing a good job.
You are. You're both disappearing into roles, which is why it's a problem for me to keep things going. So I apologize if I flip things around. Let me start off with, how do you think it's going? More importantly, where do you think it's going? Give us one prediction about where and what might be happening.
It's not fair because my character can see the future.
That's true. This is a fair point. And if you want to just cop to that, you can just skip this one.
No, I think my character can see the future. So
you're like not allowed. That's okay.
I know exactly where it's
After
going.
this episode, I'm hoping this is like Omen's choice, his do or die, like way out. You know, like I think at some point he chooses whether he like tries to defeat Asmodeus, I guess. Or
Do we think Omen's going to kill the devil?
I think so.
seems like something he would do.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. I think he'll at least try, and then it'll probably be up to the rest of us to actually do the killing.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it'll
leads
be a
from
net
behind.
benefit to him. If it were a net benefit to have the devil on his team, then he'll keep it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think he'd do it because it's the right thing. I think he'd do it because it's the profitable thing. But maybe that's the arc. Maybe this is where he chooses to be something else.
I think he'd do it for his kid, but maybe that's me being optimistic.
That's true. He would.
Listen, no shame in that. Absolutely no shame in that. I actually have a holdover question from last episode. So, Sailor Evelyn Crystal, are you living? Are you gagged? What is
Absolutely.
happening?
Crystal, Gem, Evelyn.
Holy shit.
100%. I can see it in my head. I wish I could draw so I could draw it.
That's okay. There's a man here named Mike.
And he even
can
said
draw
we need
some
some
things.
art. So
Oh yeah. I mean, why not? I don't
Yes.
see the problem.
absolutely. That was my dreams come true.
I'm all about this just immediate dazzle up. My next question is for you. Jim doesn't know what symbiosis means. He also doesn't know who Bruckheimer is, and yet he nods. How can Certainty do this to her Uncle Jim? Is this even her Uncle Jim? Does she consider this her Uncle Jim? Where's the headspace at?
I thought long and hard about this.
good. This is
Yeah,
good.
I think to Certainty, like in my mind, and me and Jerry talked about this at length, because Jim and Omen are so close,
Yes.
I always viewed like, oh, Uncle Jim has probably been around Certainty's entire life.
Yeah.
Since Omen is the one clone that chose to raise her. And so in that sense, I think for Certainty, she is still a little baby. She's kind of baby, and I think for her, it's hard to look at Uncle Jim and not see the uncle part and be like, this is a completely different reality. He's not your uncle in this reality. I think she's having probably a really hard time reconciling that, because in her heart, that's her Uncle Jim.
So the moments in which the con is happening is kind of just at a small cost. It's kind of just a desire. Okay.
Yeah, I think she's trying to con him because she's afraid he'll leave the party again.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's,
I don't think she wants him to leave.
everything about this episode was very, it was,
very.
teepee. I will say this was a classic, Crawfather moment, where it suddenly became very gross and very dark. And let me bring this around to Evelyn. And I'm so sorry. Is it Evelyn or Evelyn? Which you prefer?
Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Yes.
Let's get it there. So there's a lot of stuff that's gone on in this episode for Evelyn. She had to get too close to an orifice. She had to ignore once again that she is being exploited by Omen. She watched her god die, but that was like a minor part of her life. How is Evelyn handling all this? How does she handle any of this?
Evelyn has existed in like so many timelines, so many situations where she doesn't know how she got there. And I think the only way that she handles that is just that like, Lathander must want me here, so I guess I'll just do my best to serve Lathander here. That's how I handle the fact that I'm a player in so many different places.
This is your safety net.
Yeah, so that actually kind of works. So I think that like, seeing her god die, there's definitely an element of like close to snap that she
Okay.
was.
So this is like the first real crack,
Yeah.
would you reckon?
Maybe not the first real crack, but I think there's an element of like this just became not run of the mill. Like, but usually it's like, oh yeah, there's a big bad, something evil, Lathander put me here, we're gonna win, it's gonna be fine. But this is like, oh, potentially this could be like the destruction of everything that is the foundation of my life. So, I mean, yeah, I suppose I hadn't really thought about it that way until
She's being
just now.
confronted with consequences.
Yes.
All right, so this is a two-parter, or rather, each of you is going to take a turn. So, charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Anna, how does certainty serve us these qualities? Jasmine, same question about Evelyn. Take it in whatever order you prefer.
Ooh, okay. So, from Evelyn's perspective, the charisma certainty has is like the self-confidence is amazing. Evelyn has a lot of confidence in what she does and what she's supposed to do and the code she follows, but I think she doesn't have self-confidence. So when she sees certainty, just be like, oh yeah, this is what I want. This is who you are. This is who I am. This is what we're gonna do. To her, it's mystifying. So that's the charisma. The uniqueness is, I think that being, first of all, dual class. She doesn't know a lot of dual class people, so I think she thinks that's really cool. And then also just being Omen's daughter makes her like one in a million. You know,
Absolutely.
that's like the only, and that's very singular. So I guess that's the uniqueness.
I think you probably covered nerve, at least, with the go-getter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the talent is also kind of obvious too, like clearly.
Bards.
Yeah.
No biggie. Yeah.
I think Evelyn, to certainty, represents like all four of those qualities in the sense that Evelyn actually knows how to make friends.
Aw.
And certainty has people that work for her or people that work for her dad. And so she's never had to actually win people over to get them to stay around. And I think that's something that she grapples with, and she puts up like these walls. And I think like seeing how vulnerable Evelyn is to her is like kind of brave, because it's like, well, if you go try to be that thing's friend, you might get rejected. And then like, how does that not break you? Because there are times Evelyn will walk up to a rock person and they become her friend. And there's times she walks up to a shambling mound and it hits her. And it's like, how, and I think for certainty, it's like, how does that not break you? Like you tried to be friends with something and it hurt you. Like how is your trust in everything not broken? And I think like, yeah, I think certainty finds that, and me too, Jasmine finds that charismatic, unique, because we live in a D&D world where people are more likely to attack you than ask you what your name is.
Yes. Let alone
And
listen to the
it
answer.
requires a lot of nerve, and I think in a lot of cases requires a lot of talent. It got us out of a lot of combat in that first episode. And
yeah.
Dude, the call you made on the code, I was totally not. I was going to smash those skulls, and you were like, "Wait, push them." That was awesome.
I love puzzles.
yeah.
So
It was a nice jump. I appreciate that, because I remember I wrote just in my notes for this, I was like 332, and I was like, it's not gonna happen. He mentioned it. The Archie mentioned it. It's fine. We're done. Then it was like, oh, that was, that. Well, all right then. So it's been fun to watch you guys play off each other, especially because it's been interesting to watch the cinnamon roll, the cinnamon roll versus not cinnamon roll.
yeah, scalpel.
Oh, scalpel.
Scalpel.
I was
We
going for
used
another
to have
pastry.
this joke with one of my DMs that we would say he is a bag of Dunkin' Donuts, but when you reach in, it's just a bagel and a steak knife.
Okay.
And I
yes.
like to think of myself as the steak knife.
Okay.
You know,
I love it.
Like it's a bag of cinnamon rolls, but then there's just inexplicably a steak knife in there.
Absolutely.
And that's
No,
me.
I love it. Which way is it pointed? It's important that you not ask. So to wrap it up, I've got two more questions, and these come from the Discord. They're both inspired from the Discord because one of them specifically is going to be very long. So Possessed Naughty asked on the Discord about Certainty's employee evaluation of Omen. Would one exist? And if so, is there one per clone?
Yes, I think they're color-coded and sorted in a file somewhere. I assume these are things he either doesn't show up to or that she has to do on the run. But in a very, what's her name, Pam Poovey from Archer?
Yes,
I think in a very Pam Poovey fashion, she probably chases down every employee of Ack Inc. and is like, it's time for your annual evaluation.
She's got a file.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you will fill
on
it.
everyone.
I love
like
it.
but it's also like in a Batman fashion, I think.
Yes.
Where it's like, if I have to kill these people, I know exactly how to do it because of the employee record.
So
Absolutely.
she knows other Omen clones?
Yeah.
Whoa. How does that feel?
horrible because none of them wanted to raise her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They all abandoned you. You had like
Yeah.
a million dads who abandoned you.
Yeah. When we first met Certainty, she was in the blood clone library, and people oftentimes don't think about that, but I think about it a lot.
Oh, jeez.
You're like, no, I stay thinking about it. It's all I think about.
Something to think about, like, what was she doing in a blood clone library?
Oh my gosh, you're
Or
so
blood
right.
library, rather.
It's just, yeah, it's a. So much like the rest of this episode, this one's just like a. Just a fridge horror moment.
We
And
got
just regular horror.
crawfathered.
We got crawfathered. Desperately crawfathered. So, yep. Also, Purim posted something I'd like to ask here. When your Paladin of Lathander has to go to bed early, would you say she's got an early Evelyn? That's all the time we have, everybody. This has been Accounts Playable. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you after the next one.